Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Marco Zappalorto, the Chief Executive of Nesta Italia. And in the next 45 minutes today, we will hear from the winners of the 5 million euros blockchains for social good prize launched by the European Innovation Council. And we will also hear from Pearse O'Donoghue from the European Commission. With this prize, the European Innovation Council recognizes and supports the recent efforts of the developers and civil society to decentralize and apply blockchains for social innovation. During the session today, we will meet the 6 winners of the 5 million award and take a brief look at the 6 challenge areas that our innovators are tackling, which are traceability and fair trade, financial inclusion, decentralized circular economy, transparency of public processes, participation in democratic decision-making, and management of public records. But before hearing from our winners and watching videos explaining what these solutions are about, I would like to welcome on stage to Pearse O'Donoghue, Director of Future Networks from the European Commission, to tell us a bit more about the importance of blockchain for the European Commission to deliver public good in Europe. Pearse, welcome.
Thank you. Good afternoon. Thank you and good afternoon. Can you hear me well?
Yes. Good afternoon, Pearse. Welcome on stage. It's not really a stage, but it's a digital stage. So the floor is yours.
It's the internet. All the world is a stage. And thanks, Marco, because this is a great follow-on from the keynotes and the great presentations and discussion we have in the first sessions this morning. Because here we're now showcasing one of the areas where NGI needs to focus in order to harness and exploit a technology that can play a key role in creating an internet of trust that I spoke about this morning, but several others spoke about as well. So this is a great example and a great time to do this. The results of the Blockchain for Social Good Prize were actually already announced at the end of June 2020. Our calendar had been slightly upset by COVID, but we thought it was very important to present the 6 winners today in an award ceremony now to congratulate them and to let them present to a wide audience the innovative solutions that they have developed. It's certainly worth paying attention to, even if you're eating lunch, bon appetit, but while you're doing that, we're going to have some very interesting brief presentations now. I think it's important to note also that the blockchain, as I said earlier on, is one of those technologies that we need to help to provide solutions to the user, but also to society so that they can fully exploit it, but also not be exploited by the internet. So one of the innovative elements of this prize is its scope. A lot of us know quite a bit, and all of us know a little bit about the potential of blockchain that's already been tested on a large scale, for example, in the financial domain. But its possible applications in social domains and its applications to address sustainability challenges have not been explored as much. There are some people who, of course, have been doing pioneering work in this area for a while, but more work is required. So the goal of this prize, which, as you said, is managed through the funding of the European Innovation Council, EIC, on blockchains for social good, it was to recognize and support the efforts made by developers and civil society in exploring the decentralized applications of blockchain in the area of social innovation. As I said again earlier, but as we heard several speakers drive home the point, that the market has its way of working, but we must ensure that the applications for the individual, which may not have a commercial underpinning, but also for societal efforts and for societal cooperation. Those are something which we must pay particular attention to if we are to achieve our NGI objectives. So this prize, what did it cover? There were areas including traceability and fair trade, financial inclusion, decentralized circular economy, transparency of public processes, participation in democratic decision making, and the management of public records. All very important areas which we were happy to include, given particularly as they all would contribute to achieving various parts of the European Commission's goals. Implementing blockchains in those areas obviously has a clear and strong social value. But another dimension, which is very important, and it's not without coincidence, that the areas that I've just identified as being the topics for the prizes address 11 out of 17 of the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals, which are designed, as you all know, to protect the planet, but also all of its citizens, and to ensure that the entire world population enjoys peace and prosperity. Those very lofty goals, but have very concrete demands that they put on us. And again, applying technology such as blockchain is vital. So, on to the prizes. So we had a call for applications, which was hugely successful in the sense that it met with an awful lot of interest. We received 176 applications from 43 countries, 19 of those countries, by the way, outside of the European Union. And it's important to break the figures down a bit. 10% of the proposals came from individuals, 10% came from public institutions like universities, but also organizations like the Red Cross, Oxfam, and other foundations. And nearly 80% of the applications came from startups and SMEs, which is very encouraging from our point of view. It's also worth pointing out that the key requirement of the prize was to submit solutions developed in open source. We've already heard advocates of open source this morning. It is something which the Commission is committed to. And we are convinced of its role in ensuring some of the values of NGI and making sure that everyone can benefit from innovations that are introduced, partly at least, with the support of the European taxpayer. Open source and the way that we've done this prize will enable more innovators to benefit from the solutions that have been developed by the prize winners, as well as the other participants in the prize, who are also very important. So, as I've said, very important for the development of the NGI initiative. And we will continue to explore the decentralization potential of blockchain in different areas, particularly with regard to both local as well as global sustainability challenges related to the SDGs, the Societal Development Goals. So, finally, let me present briefly the prize winners. There were actually 6 winners, even though there were 5 areas originally, and that's because 2 of the winners were actually equal. They scored the same, and therefore they shared one of the 5 prizes. And the 6 prize winners were awarded a total of 5 million euros between them. So not insignificant funding. First area was quality content, and here we have WordProof, which was led by the Dutch SME WordProof. And they developed the WordProof timestamp ecosystem, which is a technology able to prove authenticity and to make information verifiable, which ultimately will lead to more trust in internet content, which is a very important goal of this initiative. The second area was traceability and fair trade. And here we have PPP, which is from the UK social enterprise Project Provenance Limited. And they developed a particular tool, proof points, to allow businesses to prove their social impact across the supply chains behind their business and products, which gives greater transparency in what is an important area for a number of societal, but also for NGO activities. Another area was financial inclusion, where we have G-Merits, which is from the Finnish University Aalto. And they have been conducting wide-scale experiments with alternative economic structures, evaluating various anti-rival compensation and governance structures, and contributing, therefore, to financial inclusion. Another area was aid and philanthropy. And here we have the Unblocked Cash Project, OXBBU, which is from the Irish Oxfam as well as the French company Senpo, who pioneer a decentralized model to address the global challenge of delivering international aid, as well as particularly to disaster-affected women and men in ways that are more efficient, transparent, and sustainable. And finally, we had the area of decentralized circular economy, where we have the winner CKH 2020, which is led by the French cooperative Kleros. And that's a platform for resolving consumer disputes in e-commerce or collaborative economy. Now, blockchain ensures that no party can tamper with the evidence or manipulate jury selection, and that all rulings are automatically enforced by smart contracts. And sorry, I forgot the last area, in energy, PROSUME, which comes from the Italian PROSUME. That's a distributed ledger-based platform providing a decentralized and autonomous digital marketplace for peer-to-peer energy trading. Now that's my couple of words presenting each project. They will now be able to present themselves much better than I can. So I'd like to say congratulations to the winners. Well done. And we look on you as the models for the future. But my last point would actually be that besides the 6 winners, we shouldn't forget all of the other excellent finalists. I'm afraid we don't have a consolation prize available for everyone. But the audience today will find more information about those other finalists on the pages of the public workshop that we held. It's linked through the NGA site as well. And there they were able to present and discuss their solutions. So I'd like to thank all of the finalists, but all of the groups also who participated and made proposals. There was a large interest. That's why we couldn't feature everybody. But I hope that all the participants will have benefited from the process, but more importantly, that you will be able to proceed in the implementation of your ideas and projects, because they will make a real contribution to achieving our NGI objectives. So thank you for all the time and energy you've devoted. Congratulations, and thanks to all. I'll hand back to you now.
Thank you very much, Pearse, for your description of the prize and the process and the great winners. At Nesta, I remember about, I think 4 years ago, we were involved with the initial design of this prize. And in 4 years, we came so far. It was very difficult at the time to find blockchain experts to engage in the process of developing the prize. And now we have all these applications and these, incredible ventures tackling problems using blockchain. I think it's amazing. And also, like, one other reflection is on the power of open source and open innovation when it comes to finding radical solutions. And I'm glad that the European Commission, through the European Innovation Council, will talk more to SMEs and startups, the real drive of innovation in Europe. So thank you very much. And now, as you said, we will give the floor to the winners, the 6 winners. We will show videos, quick videos, during which the winners will present. These are pre-recorded videos, of course. They will present their solutions. So I will start from the first video by the project OXBU in the category Aid and Philanthropy.
In Vanuatu, the situation that we have now is that it is consistently ranked as the most or the second most disaster-prone country in the world. We did a nationwide study, and the average time it took for people to receive assistance after a disaster was 4 weeks or more.
This is my little store that I own. Make small income for my family.
We've already started with cash transfer to assist over 13,000 volcano-affected households.
The Senpo solution is comprised of a digital wallet, tap-and-go card, and an Android app. We enrol recipients and vendors onto the Senpo dashboard and are able to disperse funds to those recipients. And then the recipients take it to a participating vendor and make a payment simply by tapping on the Android phone that's given to the vendor.
say it makes life easier for the customers that are coming through. By giving them this card, something that they need, they come to the shop and they get it from the shop.
Cash transfers in general give people a lot more dignity in terms of how they recover from natural disasters, and using this Ethereum-based solution also leverages the inherent benefits of blockchain technology like auditability, reliability, and transparency.
They actually don't need to be banked, which is a really critical aspect to being part of a cash transfer program.
So it's logistically more simple, quicker, less expensive, and it accelerates recovery of the local markets. We're trying to break the model of traditional disaster assistance.
With climate change and the number of disasters growing around the world, we can see how a project like this can really change the way aid is delivered to people. And I really like the dignity aspect. I guess that this was also crucial for this project. So I'm going to move on now to the next video, and it would be the project PROSUME in the category energy.
Resources do not harm to the environment. They are equally distributed around the world. Energy should be a common good, and with PROSUME we make it right.
PROSUME stakeholders are transmission and distribution grid operators, or providers as utilities and aggregators that can offer new services on the market, in particular related to the new energy communities that are growing faster and faster in the market. And inside the communities there are the prosumers, and they can actually save money becoming part of the community.
Thank you very much for the PROSUME project. I would quote something they say on their website: decentralize, decarbonize, digitalize. PROSUME policy is the only way to consume energy in the future, and I personally can't agree more. I will move next into the next project, the Kleros project in the decentralized circular economy category.
Bob is a designer. Today, he's building a website for Alice. When it's done, he sends Alice the invoice. But there's just one problem. Alice isn't happy. It's not how she wanted the site to look, and now Alice won't pay, which makes Bob unhappy, so now everyone's unhappy. But it didn't have to be this way. If Bob and Alice had just used Kleros, this could all have been settled. Kleros is a blockchain dispute resolution layer that provides fast, secure, and affordable arbitration for virtually everything. At the start of the project, Alice's funds are locked into a smart contract. If Alice is happy with the job, Bob receives payment. If there's a dispute, Kleros uses crowdsourced jurors to consider the evidence and settle the dispute. Jurors analyse the evidence and consider both sides of the story. On this occasion, they side with Alice and vote her to be the winner. Their decision is automatically enforced and the arbitration fees are collected, all performed on the blockchain. Freelancing, crowdfunding, curated lists, gaming, e-commerce, insurance, oracles, escrow. The possibilities are endless. Life isn't always fair, but Kleros is. Kleros, the dispute resolution layer for virtually everything.
The possibilities of Kleros are endless, indeed, and I thank the Kleros project for sharing the video. And I guess the category was circular, decentralized circular economy, but I guess there's much more that you can really apply Kleros for. I'll move into the next project, the Word Proof project in the category Quality Content. Should start soon. They're telling me that the video is not working. They're trying to fix it. Bear with me for a second. I'm waiting to hear from our colleagues. I guess managing the whole machine is extremely hard, so and difficult. So there could be problems sometimes, but I'm sure they're trying to fix them. Can you send me some updates? I'm checking my phone, sorry. Okay, next project, and then Word Proof later, provenance in the traceability and fair trade category.
Hi, I'm Jessi. I'm the founder of Provenance. Provenance exists to make it easy to find out information about the impact behind the products you buy. Things like where was a product made and what impact does it have on people and the planet. We work with businesses to help them make that information transparent in a format that citizens like you and me can access and understand. We help brands be transparent wherever their products are, whether that's online or on pack. Our software is based on an open source framework for transparency. We developed a system called Proof Points that sits within that framework. Proof Points are digital badges that show shoppers what's good about a product. They include respectable certifications and claims related to key issues like reducing waste, lowering carbon footprint, and paying workers fairly. All proof points are benchmarked to public reputable standards, and all are able to be backed up by a credible third party. But unlike the way certifications and claims are shared today, proof points are designed for the internet and to be trustworthy wherever they are. So if you see a proof point powered by Provenance, you can click it, you can check who was involved, and you can review the evidence. And lastly, if there's a green tick, you can see who assured the claim to be true. Proof points are built on a public blockchain, so all can inspect the verification and check their validity. As a brand, you can be trusted for the good work you're doing. And as a shopper, you don't need to learn a new language for impact every time you shop. And you can trust the claims that are made are not false or greenwash. We're constantly improving the framework to ensure we're using the latest standards, and we've appointed an external group of experts to help us, called our Integrity Council. Proof points are here to help make commerce a force for good.
Thank you very much, Provenance Project. And I believe that everyone following us right now, at least once in their life, has got frustrated on how little we know about the products we buy and when they come, where they come from. So provenance is definitely the solution. I'll move on to the next project, G Merits in the category Financial Inclusion. Pretty powerful soundtrack for a very powerful project, shifting the paradigm towards new economic models. And I'm very curious to hear more about their new experiments during the discussion. From the tech booth, they tell me that Wordproof, the video in the project video is now ready. So Wordproof for the category quality content. Thank you.
The internet has a deep-rooted issue, and it's trust. 29% of the Europeans are suspicious of the internet, and 86% have fallen for fake news. It's quite logical, as the internet was built to connect computers to computers. Trust simply wasn't part of the design, but as a result, we suffer fraud, manipulation, and theft on a daily basis. How to restore trust, and how to make the internet about connecting people without the noise. Our mission is to make trust part of the internet's DNA with timestamps. Now that what I read is real and I can verify who wrote it. What I create is mine and I have the proof, and in disputes I have leverage, I am protected. And this should be true for news, social media, e-commerce and every other corner of the internet. And trust, that's what we build. Wordproof timestamps content on the blockchain. Often, blockchain is not used for the right reasons, but for independently building online trust, it's the only way. And what we do is we build a global, inclusive timestamp ecosystem by leading standardization via ISO and integrating with search engines, social media, and policymakers. In our first year, massive community support emerged and hundreds of thousands of timestamps were placed. And meanwhile, over 90 million page views are served with timestamp certificates, educating people on fake news and fraud. We firmly believe that transparency and accountability lead to a more trustworthy internet, and our timestamp ecosystem protects Europeans and tackles the issues we face today. With WordProof in place, Europe now has the tools to fight the resistance of tech giants, decrease the impact of fake news, and offer a level playing field in case of disputes. With WordProof and its open source timestamp ecosystem, we, as Europe, lead the way towards a trustworthy internet. So let's build the trusted web together.
Trust wasn't really part of the design of the internet. What seems like a very simple comment is actually mind-blowing, I guess, and scary, at least for me, because I never thought about this way. So thank you, WordProof. And now I'll move on to the next part of this session, the last 15 minutes. And actually one representative from each project will be here live for a panel discussion in which I will ask some questions about their projects. So I welcome on stage Nick Williams from Sempo, Alex Delia from PROSUME, Federico Ast from Kleros, Frank van Dalen from WordProof, Jessi Baker from Provenance, and Tuukka Ylälahti from Mesensei. I don't know if I pronounce all your names correctly, but I'm sorry for that. And welcome on this panel, and congratulations for winning this prize. As we heard from the European Commission, the competition was tough, and your projects were the best one. So congratulations again, and keep doing amazing for the social good of Europe. I'll start asking questions. I will start from Oxboo. So I'll start from Nick. I'm curious to know more about what have been the obstacles you have to face for implementing the project.
I think that's a really great question. I think blockchain has long been heralded as one of those potentially revolutionary things for financial inclusion. But in practice, there's a huge gap between what the technology is designed for, and this design is normally done in the context of the Silicon Valley bubble or something similar, and what the reality is on the ground in places like Vanuatu. And in places like Vanuatu, access to smartphones is still very limited, and the internet goes down for days at a time. And so this means that a lot of the traditional blockchain paradigms that we talk about when we talk about using blockchain for financial inclusion and for making payments really just don't make any sense anymore. And so what this has meant, I think, overall, is that a lot of these environments where blockchain does have the most potential have actually really been put into the too hard basket, which has meant that a lot of these promises of inclusivity and empowerment have really not been met as much as I think the community would have hoped. And inclusivity, I guess, is at the core of the missions for both Sempo and Oxfam. And so it was really crucial to us that we didn't just build a tool that was only useful for the most well-off in society. So it wasn't really an option for us to tackle these challenges of how to implement a technology that is very, very complex and very, very high tech in this area where there was limited internet and there was limited smartphones. And so we had to spend a lot of time really building and working at a community level to ensure that the platform we delivered really made sense to people on the ground and really did empower people on the ground, rather than just being another piece of exciting, fancy new technology that was dropped into a community and then just existed in isolation and didn't make sense inside of the context. And I think getting that right was really hard, and it took a lot of time, but I think overall, I think the teams really pulled something really nice together in the end.
Thanks, Nick. I'm going to ask you a question I will ask everyone, so the others can prepare and you'll be the first one. How what is the first thing you're going to do with the cash prize?
Oh, this is a really interesting one. I mean, we've got huge ambitions to scale the work we're doing with Oxfam across basically the world is sort of where we're targeting. We're working on some projects in South America currently. We're also scaling across the Pacific region, and it's something we're really interested in learning how we can basically use this to work in contexts where the capacity to run cash transfer and cash aid is, perhaps lacking at the moment. We can increase that capacity to run, dignified aid programs around the world. We're also really interested. We love the philosophy of the EU project in terms of creating open source technology that everyone can use. We're really excited to, continue to publish our work as open source technology, and hopefully see other people take what we're creating and use it for their own projects and create financial inclusion in places that we're not necessarily looking at.
Thank you very much. Conscious of time, so I have to move next. Congratulations again. Thank you. I'll move on to Alex from PROSUME project. My question is very simple. By watching your video and studying your website, the questions that came to my mind is, why isn't every single person in the world using PROSUME yet? And how many organizations are doing something similar already? And I guess it's really a matter of the more the merrier, rather than competing with each other. Thank you, Alex.
Thank you, Marco. I totally agree with you. There are actually many competitors around, if you want to see it like that. We try to collaborate, actually, and we are for sure in the open source movement. And that's why, answering to the previous question, we're going to invest part of the money in working together with partners who are actively working in the self-sovereign identity level, because we believe energy is really important, fundamental for every action we do every day. Digital rights are in the connection. So we believe identity should be approached in the proper way, in the European way, I would say. Answering to your question, so as we ended up the video, for us, our motto is energy should be a common good. And this is, I think, the first approach that makes us different, the fact that we don't treat energy as a scarce resource, because actually the sun is throwing at us lots of tons of energy every day, every hour. And we are just learning how to acquire it, how to use it at best. And the most important thing is we are, with our technology, helping to really decentralize the governance of how energy is used, acquired, and shared. And that's why we don't build upon a tokenization of energy, giving some sort of scarce value, but we are actually tackling the infrastructure layer. And to this, I would like to say, if we take into consideration the fact that most of our infrastructures, of our nowadays infrastructure, were publicly funded. So think about the streets. You walk every day on the street, you go to a grocery shop, you buy your bread. You don't pay every time you run on the street or you walk on the street. You pay to the grocery and pay a little part of taxation. And with this taxation, they maintain the infrastructure, the street. And internet, somehow it's working the same and should be a public good. And we are seeing a lot of happenings, for protecting it. And energy is the same. We believe energy should be really a common good, and so should be publicly supported, and it was publicly funded. And I think this is our approach that makes us different from the others, the way we tackle this. Why it's not used by everyone? Yeah, we have to develop still more. We have to develop, so we will focus also on developing our tools, make it more easily to be adopted. And we have to talk a lot with the energy stakeholders, which are complex. It involves public, private, and I think the European approach of the public-private partnership is a good approach, and that's why we will also organize probably some event trying to bring together DG Connect and DG Ener to really connect the two infrastructures of communication and of energy sharing. So thank you.
Thank you very much, Alex. I'm not going to ask you the money question because we're running out of time. So I have to move next to the next project. Federico Ast from Kleros. Welcome and congratulations for winning the prize. My question is, how do you recruit the jurors? And how can you explain a bit more on how the process works? Thank you.
Sure. So Kleros is created to resolve real-time small claim dispute happening in the world economy today. Think, for example, a web or a software developer from Poland having a contract dispute with someone, a client in Germany or in Spain. So you have this this economy which is digital and global. And you need some very efficient mechanism for solving dispute happening there. So because these are contracts for 1,000 euros or 2,000 euros, and traditional mechanisms for resolving disputes are typically very expensive. So Kleros is using, is created a different mechanism design where jurors, anyone can be a juror in disputes. And for this, if you want to be a juror, let's say in a website development dispute, you have to have a token, a cryptographic token that you have to stake to deposit into a court where others where like this type of dispute happen, and then you are randomly drawn depending on your staked token, and a pool of, let's say, 5 jurors are drawn, and these guys are going to analyze the evidence. They are going to analyze the contract, the product that was delivered, and they are going to deliver a verdict on the case. And this is going to solve the dispute. The way in which this process is developed uses game theory, uses cryptography. It's very advanced mechanism design that results in a dispute resolution method that is very cheap and very efficient and very fast compared to alternatives. And this makes Kleros very apt for resolving all these disputes that happen in the digital world, in e-commerce, in freelance working. So there's a lot of game theory and a lot of thought put into how to make this mechanism as efficient and as fast and as transparent as possible.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Federico. And I have to move on because we have very little time left. Frank from WordProof. Bearing in mind that I want to use all your applications, but WordProof, I guess, like I feel like I can really use it right now, and I want to use it. So can you explain to me, like, how can I use WordProof now? Can you explain to me, like, how does the process work?
Well, actually, it is very simple. You can just go to our website and download the plugin for WordPress. 1/3 of the websites around the world are managed by WordPress, so that one is already covered. Soon we will have more plugins coming up for other platforms like Shopify, Joomla, Drupal. We're all working on that. And that's also where we're using the European money, the prize money, for to speed up the development. And of course, the API technology is also there, and we're really happy that now we see governments and big publishers stepping in. They're contacting us, like, okay, we want to increase the trust around our communication towards our citizens, because that is the main issue that the governments are facing. Yeah, I mean, it's very simple. And what is really important is that we were able to bring all the technology under the motor hood. So you can set it up in 2-3 minutes, and it's all working automatically. The timestamping will be done automatically, because we also think it's very important that if you have these new technologies, that even people who are not tech savvy will still be able to use the blockchain technology and they might not know that they're using it, but it serves the purpose. So it's actually really very easy. It's all done real time, and also in large volumes. Last year we did a stress test with a publisher where we did a couple of 100,000 of timestamps in just a couple of hours. That's how it works. It's ripping away the tech part, and regarding money, we're also going to heavily invest in the advocacy, because I mean, Europe is struggling with the answers that tech companies are giving them what cannot be done, and we have completely different vision that Europe actually is in the forefront of creating trust on the internet, and now there are tools available to support those ambitions, contrary to those what the tech giants are saying. So again, that's also part of the money that we will reinvest into Europe back.
Thank you very much, Frank. I have 3 minutes left. Jessi Baker, founder and CEO of Provenance, welcome and congratulations. How many products have been Provenance certified so far, and what is your growth ambition?
Hi, great to be here. Thanks so much. So currently Provenance is working with 200 different brands. Some of those have got a huge number of different products, spanning food, drinks industry, but also beauty and fashion. And we've got some pretty extreme growth ambitions. So we're already using the prize money to, essentially grow our team out to be able to add more proof points so we can span more industries robustly, and also help scale the network. So inviting manufacturers to help assure information related to proof points, and more retailers, so that we can get the information into the hands of shoppers. Thanks.
Thank you very much, Jessi. And now, last but not least, Tuukka, the Ylälahti, please again correct me if I'm not pronouncing it well, the CEO and co-founder of Mesensei. Welcome, congratulations for winning the prize. I would like to hear a bit more about the REC project, which is one of the experiments that you run with G-Merits, and if you're working on developing new projects. Thanks.
Thank you, and thank you for the prize and the honor of being here. It would be lovely to be there in live, but we'll do the best. So our work, the consortium, is made of 3 experiments plus university research from Aalto and Milan. So it would be hard for me to comment specifically on REC. You would have to contact Susanna directly. But on a general level, we will use the prize money to do more what we have been doing so far, i.e. to run experiments. So each of the experiment we had before was building to particular direction, looking at particular area of it in isolation. And when we entered the EU Ledger program, we became aware of each other's and each other's work, and we realized there's a lot of synergy between what we are doing, what we are building on. And if we bring all these forces together, we can build on each other's experiments to devise the next level of thinking, which would be combining the different aspects. So one of the aspects we were looking was obviously the research in anti-rival assets by Aalto University. The other area was looking at economic structures and local economies that REC was working on. Then there was the social credit side, which Merits was working on. And then there was a community empowerment framework that my startup Mesensei is working on, which enables communities to build up their own tech capabilities and maybe fuse these all things together so that more communities can start experimenting with anti-rival marketplaces, anti-rival assets, anti-rival experiments. In practice, it means that we are looking for cases where we can apply these technologies, these concepts. Good for this year, but then everything got kind of COVIDized and we couldn't actually join the collaboration teams that, for example, we were working in Italy. So we have to refactor and rework some of the starts, and we are eager to talk to different new partners who would be interested in applying the concepts of anti-rival compensation, anti-rival asset creation, blockchain for social goods in particular cases and contexts. So now we have the funding to execute, and that's brilliant.
Thank you very much, guys. Thank you for being with me and closing this only 1 minute late. And congratulations again. Please keep doing amazing things in Europe. We need people like you to change things and to change the system. So thank you. I'm closing this session now, but please stay with us for the afternoon fringe events and workshops starting in less than 15 minutes. Thank you very much. Bye.